Hi, my name is Tanya Darlington. I'm with Truly Mama. I'm a mama, truly, to a 14-month-old son. But I'm also so much more. I'm a sister. I'm a daughter. I'm a small business owner. I'm a strong Aries. And I'm also a single mom. So shout out to all the single moms who are doing it all too. Today, I'm here to talk about something very dear to my heart: responsive parenting. I like to refer to it as I'm here for you parenting, and I'm excited to tell you a little more about it. Visit trulymama.com for more tips and tricks for all things motherhood. When I was pregnant, I had quite a few people, as well as also read that you should not take unsolicited advice from other people. Now, if you're a mama-to-be or a current mama, you either A, are going to be receiving a lot of unsolicited advice, or B, you already are receiving a lot of unsolicited advice. And sometimes the advice is good, and sometimes the advice is kind of bananas. And I just want to let you know, only you know how to mother your child. And don't let anyone else tell you how to do that. You just have to trust your gut. You just have to trust your instinct. So that's what I did. When my son was born, I just really went inside instinctively and said, what is it that my baby needs from me? And I just constantly was thinking, what is he trying to communicate? Whether it was cries out for me, maybe he's hot or cold or hungry, or maybe he needs his diaper changed. Really wanting to be there for my son, always at arm's length away. A lot of skin to skin, a lot of cuddles, a lot of nurturing when he was first born. And now as a toddler, I find myself really letting him know Mama's here. Being the first face he sees in the morning and the last face at night. And when he comes home from daycare, I put a big smile on my face. I get really excited, or I put my phone down, or I turn the TV off. There's lots of ways to show our children we're there for them, paying attention to them, to show that we are responsive to what they're giving us. The National Physician Center of Family Resources defines responsive parenting as the following. Sensitive or responsive parenting refers to family interactions in which parents are aware of their children's emotional and physical needs and respond appropriately and consistently. Sensitive parents are in tune with their children. They understand individual developmental and temperamental differences, respond quickly and appropriately to their children, and provide encouragement and support during times of distress. I'm going to share a story with you that I think is a little bit funny. So my son and I, as well as my grandmother and my aunt, were coming back from lunch, and I was driving, and my son was 5 months old, and he was in the back seat, and he started to cry. He actually started crying quite a bit, and I was visibly getting stressed driving. And I said to my grandmother and my aunt, this is the most he's ever cried in his whole life. And they looked at each other and they laughed and said, what, is your baby not allowed to cry? And I said, no, my baby's not allowed to cry. And it's not that he's not allowed to cry. It's just that him and I have had such a tight bond from when he was born, as I moved through this sort of responsive parenting approach, that I can very quickly assess what he needs and be able to meet them for him within reason. I mean, most babies' needs are reasonable. He's becoming a toddler, so they're not always reasonable, but I do my best, if it's something within reason, to meet those needs and being really in tune to that. And so he really didn't cry much for the first year. And I'll be clear, I know some babies do cry a lot and some babies don't, and all babies are different. For me, while I was parenting my son and developing this relationship with him, I really stopped to think often, what is it that he's trying to communicate, and what can I do to help him? We know through science now, fact-based science, how important it is to meet our children's needs and let them know they're understood and let them know that they matter. Let me give you an example of sort of two different ways that babies' needs were met. It's actually a personal example. When I was born, I was premature, and I was in the NICU at 4 pounds for several weeks. Over a period of time, I would have learned in the NICU that my needs, when I voice them, are not to be met. And that's just by design of maybe the way the NICUs were in the 80s, but I would have been a baby in an incubator. People would have touched me, maybe occasional touches, not a lot of response like through the evening, certainly not my mother. She was sent home. And my mother, like nobody knew, there wasn't a lot of science around that then, but years later when I was a toddler, my mother took me back to the doctor and said, my baby doesn't cry, like what is wrong with her? Her doctor said, go home. All the women lined up behind you, their babies won't stop crying. You're a lucky mama. So she picked me up feeling silly and went off her day. What we know now is that I would have learned that through my cries and no one responding to my cries, that my cries are not a need that are worthy of being met. And we now know like those first few weeks, first few months, first few years of childhood are so critical for a lot of the core personality traits that we develop coming into our further youth, teenage years, and then adulthood. So as an adult now at 35, I'm actually working through knowing that my needs are worthy of being met and that my voice is worthy of being heard. We didn't know the signs then and how important it is. And I actually didn't even really know it until I became a mother and wanted to research more. And I did do some more research because my son also didn't cry. And I was curious, well, I didn't cry as a baby and he didn't cry as a baby. Well, why is that? It's actually two different reasons. I didn't cry because my needs weren't met and I stopped crying. My son, he doesn't cry a lot because his needs are met. So he communicates quickly and I'm able to respond quickly and then he goes about his day. What do babies need? They need a lot of milk. They need a lot of sleep. They need a lot of affection, a lot of love. They need a lot of response from their caregivers, seeing their face, touching it. As we know, newborns only have like very small amount of depth perception. They need a lot of safety and security. We need to be able to hold a lot of space for them to learn and grow and explore and be curious and understand their world. We need to be able to support them so that they can have the confidence to do that. Because of these science-based studies, we know that responsiveness of our child, like the eye contact, touch, meeting needs promptly, being spoken to, having them feel understood, valued, appreciated, letting them know that their voice matters is such an important part of developing a generation of children who are set up for success as they go on to become teenagers and adults, and really having those foundational core attributes that are needed to be stable and joyful and happy. So with responsive parenting, what you really are doing is building trust through your actions and behavior. So the way that you are choosing to react to your child really puts you in a position of, can they trust you? Do they trust you? Responsive parenting is about acceptance, accepting them for who they are, encouraging them at what they're great at, being authentic to ourselves, showing our children through our own behaviors that I accept me, I love me. What I can share is that I very much take a responsive approach in my own parenting. I don't know if it's my parenting or him. There's definitely nature versus nurture. But I will share that my son is a thriving, energetic, clever, advanced in motor skill development, language development. He's a risk taker. He's courageous. He explores. He's the most joyful baby. There's all kinds of really great things that are happening here that I feel like are very much a part of who he is, but also the encouragement of responsive parenting and the environment that is provided for him. Take your time, do a little research, understand what does responsive parenting mean to you, because it can mean something totally different. But it really is just about taking that step back, observing our children and helping them and letting them know that we're there for them. If you'd like to learn more about pregnancy or being a mom or what to expect, then follow us, subscribe, give us a thumbs up if you like this video, leave us a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. Did you like this video? Do you want to learn more about other things? And you can also follow us on Instagram, Truly Mama, or myself, Tanya Darlington. Thanks for listening.